Hey everyone, this is David Brown from Lycobirds out here at Rose Valley Lake. This was a bird walk that my family was leading for the Lycoming Audubon Society. We met at the south boat launch of Rose Valley Lake. The weather was absolutely beautiful, and we had 9 people and 1 dog show up. Here is one of 2 ring-billed gulls that were perched up nicely for us, and despite the number of fishermen and boats and trailers pulling in and out, they didn't seem to mind. And this is a first summer bird, meaning that it was born last year. There aren't many birds on the lake this time of year, so we were mostly looking in trees. Here we have a male red-winged blackbird. And here we have an eastern kingbird, and notice the white tip to the tail. As we were walking back up the road that leads to the south launch, we had this nice immature bald eagle fly right over. And this is a bird that would have been born 2 summers ago, so we can see that white-bellied appearance. We can also see the different ages of feathers, where it still has some retained juvenile feathers. And we notice that it's actively molting right now as well. Here's a photo taken from the south causeway of what you could call the south pond of the lake. It looks like a pond, but actually it's connected by a pipe to the rest of the lake. It's a good place to see marsh birds. Here we have a female red-winged blackbird carrying food, and we also heard other birds such as swamp sparrows. Here's the view from the same area looking back out over the main part of the lake. We had some nice views of bald eagles, including this adult carrying a fish. We turned around and went down the road the other way, which gave us some nice looks at the birds in the trees there. There was one tree that had a bunch of these caterpillars dangling in the air and also a lot on the ground. This house wren perched up nicely and sang for us. A mink ran across the road carrying something, but it was going out of sight before anyone could snap a photo. After that, we worked our way back to the cars, and most people left, but a few of us went around to the other side of the lake to see if we could find any more birds. Here's a song sparrow perched on top of a small shrub. Here's an adult bald eagle carrying what looks to be a fish, and this looks like it might be the same bird we saw earlier, just because of the little bit of white that it still has in the wings. Here's a juvenile bald eagle, and this is not one that was born last summer, but rather this is what we would call a southern juvenile, so probably born to the south of us over the winter. We can see it's just in very fresh plumage, completely dark underside and head, even trailing edge to the wings, so we know it's a juvenile because it hasn't replaced any feathers yet. And just overall, it doesn't show a lot of wear, just a very fresh looking bird. Here's a brown thrasher. We did not hear it singing. If you remember, their song is that they mimic other bird species and they repeat each call twice. But we did hear kind of their thick chip note that's distinctive. And here's a yellow warbler that perched up. And normally I crop my photos a lot tighter, but I liked the way that the plant looked with the warbler in it, so I left it a wider crop. And if we take a look at the eBird checklist, we see that we had 45 species and 181 individual birds. So the only waterfowl were 30 Canada geese and 1 mallard. We had 1 mourning dove. We had quite a few cuckoos with 4 yellow-billed and 1 black-billed. We had 1 killdeer that flew by in the distance, not a very good look. 2 ring-billed gulls, 3 bald eagles. For woodpeckers, we had a sapsucker, and we heard its distinctive drumming as well as see it. A downy woodpecker and 1 pileated woodpecker. For flycatchers, we had 2 willow flycatchers, 1 least flycatcher, an eastern phoebe, 2 great crested flycatchers, and 2 eastern kingbirds. For vireos, we had 1 warbling and 9 red-eyed. Had a few blue jays and crows, some chickadees. Not too many swallows. We had 4 tree swallows and 1 barn swallow. We heard a blue-gray gnatcatcher calling, 4 house wrens, 1 starling, a lot of catbirds, of course, with 14, very common here in the summer, along with the 1 brown thrasher. We had 2 eastern bluebirds and 3 American robins. We had 9 cedar waxwings, including some pretty good looks, 5 American goldfinches. For sparrows, we had 2 chipping sparrows, 9 song sparrows, and 2 swamp sparrows. We had 3 Baltimore orioles. We had 18 red-winged blackbirds and 1 brown-headed cowbird, plus 11 common grackles. For warblers, we had 2 common yellowthroats, 1 American redstart, 6 yellow warblers. We had 1 scarlet tanager, 1 cardinal, and 2 indigo buntings. If you liked this video, please give it a like and be sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any updates from LycoBirds. You can find us online at lycobirds.com and you can find us on social media under LycoBirds. This is David Brown. Thanks for watching.